Welcome back to the shop. I found these old gas cans over at my grandfather's shop. They're in probably pretty decent shape considering. They look like garbage, but I think if we clean them up, they'll be usable again. And these cans can be quite expensive. These bigger cans are, with the safety style cans, they could be upwards of $80 on Amazon. Then the smaller can, I sort of like the format of this one. That's pretty neat. So I'm going to try to clean those up as best I can, and I'll try to get some time lapse along the way and show you what I run into. As far as calling this a restoration, I don't know if it's the appropriate term, because I'm not worried about painting them red again. I've actually found that the gas tank sealer liner paint that they use, I've had bad experiences with it in the past, flaking out and creating problems. But I have found that it works really well as an outside paint for the tank because you can spill gas on it and it doesn't flake away. I did that to my tractor, my Sato tractor, a couple of years ago. So we'll get some time lapse along the way. I'm not sure which one I'll start out with, but since this one, I might need to order parts for this one, I'll go ahead and get started with it. The filler neck is broke off of it, so we'll disassemble that, see what we got to do to repair it. I'm going to put some navel jelly on here and see what I can do to stop the rust. Really managed to drag this project out. It's been at least 24 hours since I was out here and I put the navel jelly on here. It has done an outstanding job removing the rust around the perimeter of this. What I need to do is go through and finish scraping this off. The citrus strip did some level of work in terms of making this easier to scrape off. However, it's sort of schmooey now and makes it a little bit more difficult to clean up. It's easier to just come through and scrape off the dry material. This carbide scraper is probably one of the best tools I've bought in a long time. I forget who turned me onto it, but it's an absolute dream to work with. It's much nicer, much crisper than a putty knife. It really does do a good job scraping this off of here. Alright, there's a little bit of crap in the bottom of the tank. Not exactly sure how to get that out of there. It'd be nice to tumble this. Let me see if I can work something out. This is super sketchy, but that was super sketchy. I'm just gonna do it manually for a while. So I have some evapor rust left over before I learned about the citric acid. I'm going to use this up. Years ago, I had bought a Sato tractor and the fuel tank on it was in relatively good shape, and I knew I'd never find another one, and if it ever rusted I'd really be in deep trouble. So the first thing I did was went to work on cleaning the gas tank, even though there wasn't a problem, and painting it because I didn't want it to rust. And what I did is I had initially thought I'd line the tank, but then the more I did some research and from one experience in the past with an old Honda four-wheeler that I had, lining gas tanks, in my experience, is not a good idea. But, so I've got this fuel tank sealer liner. I have no intention of putting this on the inside of this gas tank. I like to paint the outside of it because it's gas resistant. The spout, the pouring mechanism in here, has got all sorts of debris. I've had it in the parts washer, but whatever residual is on there is pretty nasty. I was able to find a set of duckbill pliers that fit what looked to be a 3/8 nut on the inside of here. So I was able to grab that. This has a leather gasket on it. And maybe we can reuse that, we'll find out. No wire wheel that, give it a good cleaning, and once we do that we should be able to reassemble this. So the old screen, I left it in the citric acid too long and it ate through everything. I have this screen which is really nice, but I cannot think of an easy way to reconcile the fitting between this gasket and here, which is where this other one resided. I think what I need to do is modify this sink drain, and I'll make it fit, and then this gasket will sit on top of it and pinch everything down. So I cut out that little piece, and we'll go ahead and sister that in there. Hopefully the mating forces here, it should hold that in place and not interfere with the depression of that valve. So it's not as fine as the old one, but it should definitely keep the chunks out. Well, there it is. There's my Safeway safety can with the brand new nozzle on there. That's pretty nice. The videos that I make on YouTube, I don't make any money. They cost me money to make these things. I enjoy the community, I enjoy the process, I enjoy the fact that it gets me off my butt a little bit. But it in no way makes me any money with these things. And for those of you wondering, why did this fool do this? Why did this guy spend all this time? It's because I enjoy time in the shop, and I enjoy restoring things that don't always get restored. This nozzle cost me $27. The paint cost me $15. The stickers cost me $10. I could have very well went and bought a new can and been, you know, within a couple dollars worth of a brand new can. But I enjoyed the exercise. A new can would be nice, but this coming from my grandfather's shop, you know, I appreciate it a little bit more. So hopefully that means something to somebody if you were wondering why I do this. But it's a good can. I like the safety cans. I have a couple of them. Let me show you another can that I have that I use quite a bit, and I'll tell you why this one's better. So this is my Eagle safety can. It has a self-locking mechanism, and it pours right down this spout. It doesn't spill. It's excellent for putting gas from this container into a new one without spilling anything. The downside about it is that this container, or this funnel, harvests dirt from God knows where. I always have to keep that clean so that I don't wash sediment down into the fuel tank. The biggest problem is that it takes me two hands to wrench this all the way back. Then I have to pry this funnel off of here in order to get a gas, to fill this up at the gas station. It's a complete nightmare. This, however, has a completely independent thing that I had painted shut. So now I can just stick the lever in there and it saves me a lot of time and trouble. And of course, now I just pull the lever and I'm ready to go. I do not have to futz around with the lid on here. Again, a great can, not knocking it. This is just superior. As opposed to your regular old can, that's a nightmare. So that's it. I looked for some original stickers. I couldn't find anything, but in all my machines, well, anything that's not a vehicle, I put Rec 90, the ethanol-free gasoline, in there. I found that the regular ethanol gas in the gas station is horrible for small engines. So that's why they have those stickers on there.